guys, my name is Raya and I'm basically going to talk to you all today about my experience of applying to YYGS as an international student from Ireland, and I really hope that this helps anyone else who is very interested in applying to YYGS, and maybe if you got in, this would be a very insightful video for what to expect. Hi everyone, my name is Raya, I'm 18 years old, and this video is just going to be about me talking about YYGS and basically applying as like an international student or just in general, and like tips and tricks for application, and then also my experience of going there and what I thought about it. And if you see me looking over here, it's because I wrote some tips and tricks on my whiteboard so I don't forget, and I hope all my prospective viewers or anyone who has gotten, congratulations. Just to let you know, oh, okay, never mind. Okay, first things first, for context, I applied regular decision and I'm from Ireland, so I was an international applicant, and a lot of like things that I see around is that a lot of people think that if you apply a regular decision, you're at a disadvantage to everyone else who applied early action. But all the seats for YYGS are not filled up in early action. You have a good chance of getting in regular decision if you put effort into your application. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I missed the early deadline, you can still apply regular decision and get in, because I did. So if I can do it, you can do it. So I applied to PLE, which is Politics, Law, and Economics. YYGS has 4 tracks. There's PLE, which is Politics, Law, and Economics. There's LPC, and this one gets me all the time. I never remember what it is. I think it's like Literature, Philosophy, and Culture. Then there's ISD, which is Innovations in Science and Technology, and then SGC, which is Solving Global Challenges. So I put PLE as my top choice because I was very interested in politics, and I think the first thing that you should do before you want to apply to YYGS is to do your research. You should learn about like what it actually is, if it's something that's suited towards you, and then also read over the tracks that they have and see which one is best suited towards you. When I read over the little blurb on PLE, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, because I feel like my interest in like my future careers and my extracurriculars aligned really well with the PLE track, and I was very interested to learn about like American policy and law and like how it affects the other parts of the world. So like I just knew. But for some people you might not know, and that's okay. If I were to give you advice about that, I would probably just like maybe look at the subjects that you do at school or your extracurriculars, or because I'm a very STEM girl. Like in school I take all science classes, so PLE was a bit of a like weird track for me to take. But just because you really love science doesn't mean that you can't like explore other options as well. So I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Now we're going to move on to the application. So I started my application I created my account in November, on the day, like my birthday was the day of the early deadline, which is the 1st of November, I think. Or was it? I don't remember. But I created my account then, and then I never touched it until December. And then I started working on my application for the whole month of December, and then the first like 2 weeks or the first few days of January. And my advice as well is, if you think that it's something you want to do, I would start your application early enough and make sure that you spread it out so you don't get overwhelmed or like burnt out doing so much stuff, like writing so much essays. And then the number one hack to know is that never write your YYGS essays on the portal. You should like create a Word document or a Google document, write it there, and then when you're done, paste it in. Because this happened to me 2 times. I wrote it in the portal, and when I pressed the button to continue, the whole page just refreshed. And I'm pretty sure on the like application they let you know that as well. Just try to like write it on something else and then paste it in, just to save yourself the heartbreak of having to write your heartfelt essay all over again. And then speaking of essays, I feel like essays are a big part that a lot of people worry about, because you never really know what to write. And as I'm applying to like other universities now, because I'm a senior, I understand the pain. Like sometimes your brain just goes blank and you don't know what to write about. My advice would be to brainstorm the topic or the prompt of the essay, and try to find ways that it ties into you and your extracurriculars or just your daily life. And then just draw like a little mind map and then just work from there. And then the next thing I would say is that it's okay for you not to write your essay in one go. I think I was finishing up like the last touches of my essay about like the day before I submitted it. Like I would just see something and I'd be like, no, I don't want to add that. I remove it, and that's perfectly fine. So that's just a good thing to keep in mind. And the next thing I would say is that make sure you go over all the details in your application and just make sure that you're putting in the correct information. If you think that you're going to be applying for financial aid or a fee waiver, try to do it ahead of time just so you're at the end of your application cycle, you're not panicked. And also, this is a trick for everyone. The moment you create your YYGS account and you know that it's something you want to do, I would say like in the first week of you deciding that, try to ask whoever you're going to ask for your letter of recommendation, just so they don't feel rushed and you don't feel rushed either, to give them enough time to like put their heart into your letter of recommendation, because it would be better if they had time to write about it rather than them like rushing your letter of recommendation because you want it to be great. So that's just my piece of advice. And I also noticed a lot of people asking about the process of financial aid. So I applied for financial aid and I'm so thankful that I did not have to pay anything towards YYGS. So my advice for that would basically just to talk to your parents about it. And on the financial aid form, there's a place called, I think it's like expected family contribution. So definitely talk to your parents and or guardians and see what they can contribute, and then make sure you upload all the necessary documents that you need, and then just hope for the best, I guess. And then a lot of questions I also see a lot of people asking is about like fundraising. So for example, if you get a scholarship or if you get full financial aid and you don't have to pay anything towards like your tuition, you probably will still need to pay for like your flights and your visa, etc. So what I did is that the moment I got my letter of acceptance, I think like the next day, I emailed like a bunch of organizations that I worked with, and I don't know how this happened, but in literally 30 minutes I got a reply from an organization called Teen Turn. I've been working with them since I was like 12 or 11, like when I just started secondary school, and I would do like science competitions and workshops and programs with them. And then in 30 minutes of me sending them the email, they replied to me and told me that they would cover all the costs, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, what? So my going to YYGS did not cost me one dime. So I would also advise, if there's anyone here, maybe you've gotten your acceptance letter already and you're trying to think of ways for you to fundraise. I've seen like a lot of people at YYGS, they told me that they created GoFundMes, they did like bake sales at their school, or their school sponsored them. Or I think it's also important to send out emails because you never know who's going to reply to your email. Like you never know. So oh, and I also forgot, there was another organization, I think it's called Child Right Alliance, and they also sent me, I think, 500 euros towards like any miscellaneous expenses that I had going to the US, which is great. And they also covered like my mom's flight, and they covered our hotel for the layover and our shuttle, our visa. Like it was just, I did not have a stressful time going to YYGS or coming back. It was a perfect experience for me. By this time, I'm praying that you all get in and you're wondering, well, what is YYGS like? It was the most amazing experience ever. I was so excited. I started packing like almost after I got off the summer holidays from school, and I was buying all like the Yale merch. I was just so excited to go. And I'd never been to the to like any sort of like residential, like I've never done anything like that before, so I was so excited. A few weeks before you go to YYGS, they send you like a letter, and I'm not sure if this was like a thing for our year, but they basically send you like an email, and there's a video for you to watch to let you know about things to bring, like a US phone number, adapters, like pillowcases, things like that. And then also in your acceptance letter, after you accept your like acceptance, there's like a lot of forms you have to fill out, so make sure you keep on top of that and you follow the deadlines as well, because you don't want to miss them. And then Anyways, back to my trip. So we got like, I think it was like an email, and it was basically like a link to an app, and on the app was everything you ever like need. Like you could see your um the dining hall that you were in. You could see what like the time. I'm gonna see if I can find a screenshot, but you can basically see like each hour, like what you're doing on the hour, and you know what building it is. And it was just like the perfect app ever. And in the app was like a link to like the maps of all the places that you needed to go for your courses. So like there was never a situation where you were like lost, and the app had like live updates. So maybe during our free time when we weren't doing anything, there was like a slime pop-up one day, like where you can make some slime, and it would just pop up on the app and let you know what's going on. I think, yeah. And then also like on the last day we also got like a mail that they were giving out like free merch, so we all like ran to Davenport and they were giving out like Yale t-shirts, so me and my friends got them. But anyway, back to the trip. So I got a bus to Dublin Airport with my mom, and then from Dublin we got a direct flight to New York. And luckily in Dublin Airport they have customs, so we didn't have to go through security when we got to New York. You literally just get your bags and walk out of the airport, which was so crazy. Um and then when we got to New York, we ordered a shuttle. I think we used, I'm gonna find the name and put it somewhere here because I don't want to tell you the wrong name. But we used that shuttle, and then we got to Connecticut. And actually, on my shuttle, I met one of my friends that I was with for the whole time of YYGS, which is so crazy. But her name was Kayla, and shout out to Kayla. She was from Jamaica, and we talked like a bit on the shuttle. And then when we got to like YYGS, we actually both got there a day early, so we went to our hotels, and then the next day we checked into YYGS, and then we were just like with each other every single day from then, which is so crazy. And then when I got to the check-in, I had my luggages with me, and you basically just go in, get like your lanyard, you get your key, and if you needed a fan, you get a fan, and then you just go up to your room, and then your journey at YYGS starts. And the only disclaimer I would give is that there were no elevators. So, well, in my residential house there wasn't an elevator, so the second friend that I made at YYGS saw me struggling with my luggage and she was helping me carry it up. And then that's where I met my second friend, Obi. And then me, Kayla, and Obi started hanging out. And then on the same day we wanted to go get some food, and we saw another girl sitting at the table, and we went over to her and we were like, hi. Like we introduced ourselves, and then we all just became like a friend group and just never separated for the whole 2 weeks, which was great. I had the most amazing time at YHS. But anyway, I'm gonna continue. Okay, so I also forgot to mention that before you get to YYGS, you get something called a blue book, and it's basically where based on the track that you picked, you pick a seminar during your time at YYGS. You have about 4 to 5 seminars, I think. Don't quote me on that number because I'm not sure. I don't remember, but some were 1-day seminars and some were 2-day seminars. So you just get like, it's kind of like picking your subjects at school, and you basically just put in your first, your second, your third choice. And I was really lucky enough to get all my first choices, which was great. But even if you didn't get your first choice, or you don't get your first choice, I think it's really important to keep an open mind, because I feel like all of them was interesting. Like I couldn't make the choice myself. I had to ask my mom to help me because there were so many great options, and we were just thinking like, which one would you regret that you would never do? And that's how I picked mine. But all the seminars were so interesting. There was one on like the economics of Taylor Swift. There was one about like game action or something, and I was kind of regretting not picking that one, but I didn't regret it. But they got to like pour water on their instructor, which was kind of funny. And I picked one about the ethics of organ donation, and it was a 2-day seminar, and I had never been so interested in something in my whole life before. We talked about it for 2 days straight, and I kept thinking, oh my god, I have so many questions, I have so many questions. And our professor told us that you're gonna walk out of this class with more questions than you did when you walked in, and he was right. And we had like, I think like an hour talk about the trolley problem, and it was I think personally it was my favorite seminar. Like it had me hooked the whole time. Like I never got bored. So that was great. And I also took like a seminar on like the American antitrust law. I got to learn about like American politics, which is really interesting. I took one about the sub-Saharan Africa, Um, and now my brain has gone blank because I can't remember the other ones, but it was totally interesting, and I would recommend that you take your time picking your choices and definitely read over them so you can make an informed choice. Okay, so moving on to the other parts of YYGS, the food at YYGS was, I had expectations and the dining surpassed them all. They had so many cuisines they had like African, Indian, Middle Eastern, like obviously American cuisine, and there was like an ice cream. There was ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm not sure if that's the healthiest option, but me and my friends will eat ice cream. I swear there was no day that I didn't eat ice cream. But I felt like I was a kid again, which was fun. You get to scoop the ice cream, and there's a little like ice cream buffet in the corner where there's like a bunch of like toppings, and you can make your own ice cream like cup. And they had like a variety of drinks every day, pasta, rice, like chicken, and it tasted so good. Like, I usually, a lot of people say that college food is bad, but not at YYGS. It was amazing. So yeah, that was a dining. And then also during YYGS, there are things that you can do, such as like the talent show and the speaker series. So the speaker series is basically like a mini TED Talk where you talk about something that you're interested in. And if you go to the YYGS website, I think this is really great. They actually have a sample schedule that you can look at to see what like a typical day of a YYGS student is. But you do have to audition for it, and I auditioned for it with my friend, and we both got it. And I talked about like how society would be different if we like encouraged participation in politics, and the crowd was so amazing. Like, everyone was just hyping each other up, and the audition was pretty like chill. It was just like there were two ladies sitting in the front, and you had 1 minute to prepare your speech. But before your audition, you had to audition for the audition. So you basically just had to like write about your topic and upload it through a portal, and then you would get an email saying that you've been accepted to do an audition, and then you do like a snippet of your TED Talk for 1 minute, and then you get another email saying if you got in. And then the other thing that I did is that me and my friends did the talent show, and I did.
Oh, okay. All right.
The talent show twice. I did one for singing and one for dancing with different people, and you also had to audition for the audition for the talent show. So me and my friend, me and Kayla and Azine, and like Obi didn't dance, but she was very much included in creating all the dance steps that we did. During our free time, we would be in the Davenport courtyard, and I'll probably post some videos just so you can see. We had so much fun. We would make like TikToks, and we would basically just like be creating our dances, and then we take a video and upload it in the portal, and then we got an email saying that we had to do like an in-person audition, and then we just played music on our phones and we were dancing for like a minute, and they're like, yeah, you got in. And then with my other friend, we were singing, so we sent a video of us singing like hallelujah, and then we got in. And then ever since then, me and her would just be like singing everywhere around campus, trying to prepare for our talent show. But the talent show was an amazing experience. I'd never had so much fun in my life before, and the crowd was so hyped up, and the different talents that I was seeing at the talent show was amazing. There was a person who set up her own drum kit from like random items that they found around, which is really crazy. Somebody did quick mats. People were singing, dancing. Overall, it was an amazing experience, and that was one of my highlights of YYGS. And I would encourage you guys, even if you're shy, just do something out of the box. It's really fun. No one's judging you. Just like go there, have the time of your life. Yeah. So another part of YYGS is family time. So basically, family time is like a group of people in the same track as you. So say you picked PLE, everyone in your family time would be doing PLE. Is that true? Yeah, it is. I'm trying to remember. It is. Everyone in that group would be doing PLE, and you basically just in the morning, our family time leader, Liz, was an amazing person. We had so much fun with them. Like every morning we would do a journaling, we would just journal, talk about our goals for the day, or reflect on anything that has happened for the past few days. And then it was like a tradition to play Mafia every morning. And if anybody doesn't know, Mafia is a game where like if somebody like winks at you, you have to like die and everyone closes their eyes and you try to guess who the person is. And it became a staple. We played it every single day until we left YYGS, and at the end it was so emotional because we had so much fun together, and we took like a picture and we got this like a present, which was amazing. And one of my friends in my family time I happened to meet like months before from Instagram. So if any of you get in, I would greatly encourage you guys to try and find other people who have gotten in as well, and just try to make friends before you come, because I think it makes it just a little bit easier. But like obviously most of my friends that I met, I didn't meet them online, I met them in person. But there were quite a few where I met them online and we just happened to be in the same family, two of them, which is so crazy. But yeah, try to like network with other people and make new friends. And yeah, another aspect of YYGS is like just like residential. So I was placed in Davenport, and I'm pretty sure during the time of YYGS there were 3 residential houses. It was Trumbull, Davenport, and Pearson. And my like situation with like residential was that it was kind of like a mini apartment, and then in that like apartment we had 2 floors. There was like a floor with the living room, and then there were like single rooms and double rooms, and then upstairs was me and my roommate. We had like, our room was massive, like there was like a bed here and a bed here and just like a bunch of space around, and it was really warm, so we had the fan on 24/7. And then opposite to us was another twin bed with 2 girls, and then downstairs, everyone downstairs were single. And then we had like a toilet shared with another apartment, so like in the toilet there's like 4 showers and then 2 like toilets, and there's like 2 sinks and a big mirror. So we would play like Uno and a bunch of games. Like I really bonded with the girls in my, like, I don't know what to call it, like an apartment, I guess. And like there were girls from like Singapore, Luxembourg, Dubai, like the US, Senegal. Like YYGS is the most diverse place you could ever be. There was like almost every single country on the planet, everyone was there, and it was just such an amazing time to meet people and learn about like their cultures and talk about where we're from. And a funny thing that we always did is we compared our school system. It's so crazy how different like school systems are across, I don't know, the globe. I think what a lot of people wonder is that, what do you do when you're not doing like courses or seminars or group projects? And it's basically just free time. So me and my friend group tried to explore as much of New Haven that we could. There's an Apple store like a 2-minute walk from whatever residential house that you're in. So in case someone forgot an adapter or something happened to your phone and you happen to have an Apple phone, quick fix. There was like a little grocery store there with like every single essential you would need, whether it's like laundry detergent or like if you wanted sweets or water or a snack or anything. And then on the other side, I think it's like a 5-minute walk, there was a deli where they had like hot food as well, and you could buy like water, snacks, popcorn, cookies, like whatever you want. And then if you walk like to the front, there was a really great pizza and ice cream place. I'm pretty sure I got ice cream there. Like maybe in the whole 2 weeks I was there, maybe for like 10 days I had ice cream nonstop, which is crazy, but it was just nice to be doing stuff that I wouldn't usually do in my typical everyday life. But there was amenities everywhere, so like if you ever needed anything, you wouldn't be stuck trying to find it. Me and my friends went to the Yale Museum, and actually, don't quote me on that, I don't know if it's called the Yale Museum, but it was a museum very close to Yale, so I'm just gonna assume it was the Yale Museum. And it was so amazing. We took so many nice pictures there, and we would just walk around like And if you don't know, there's boundaries in YYGS. So like there's places where you can't go, but in our boundary there was so much to see. The architecture around there is amazing. We went to the Beinecke Library and the Sterling Library, and it was amazing. Like, I've never, so much artwork everywhere. I was like, wow. And the Beinecke Library is like, you're taken into like another world. The architecture and the way the books are and the light, I feel like the atmosphere there was just like giving everything it was supposed to give. So like, I'm pretty sure I almost doubled my camera roll in the time that I was in YYGS, because I never missed an opportunity to take any picture that I could with my friends. And I brought like a digital camera with me as well, so I was always taking pictures. Like, if you ever saw me, I was with my camera taking a picture of something. So it was amazing. Or it was just a thing where every single day we would play volleyball. Like, it didn't matter whether it was the morning or the weekend or a weekday. The girls or boys would go to the Davenport courtyard and we would just play volleyball nonstop, and it was amazing bonding time. We would play music and just talk about like maybe what we did in the day, if there was any funny stories, or just play volleyball. It became like a staple. It was amazing. Overall for me, YYGS was a very amazing experience, and I feel like for someone who likes like hands-on learning or thinking outside the box, YYGS is the perfect fit for you. And I've always wanted to study in the US, and YYGS was the like opportunity for me to know what I'm getting myself into, and I do not regret it at all. I feel like going into the college admission cycle, when I came back from YYGS, I felt a lot more prepared. I had a lot more insight that I wouldn't have had beforehand, and all the professors or your family time mentors were always happy to answer any questions that I had. Or even from my friends that I made that were American, they were happy to let me know about the admission cycle, as they knew more than me. So it was very, very helpful when I started writing my Common App essay and sending off applications to all my schools. And it's also a very great thing to have on your resume, on your LinkedIn if you have it, or on your college applications as well. I feel like it has helped me tremendously preparing for like college and universities and anything that I do in the future. So if there's anyone watching this and you're thinking if you should apply, I would say this is your sign to apply, because you can, what's the worst that could happen? And if you don't get in 1 year, feel free to apply the other year again. Or even if there's people here who have been like deferred or waitlisted, there will always be other opportunities for you to do something like this. So maybe if you didn't get in, don't be too sad about it. If you have the opportunity, I would definitely advise that you apply again. But have faith, if you have been deferred or waitlisted, that you will get in, and I hope you do. But I think YYGS is one of the most amazing things that I have done in my whole high school career. And there are a few people from my school applying as well, and I think 2 people have gotten. So I think it's a really great opportunity for every high school student, and if you have the opportunity, I don't see why you wouldn't apply. So yeah, that was my experience at YYGS, and I hope everyone watches this, goes and applies. And if anyone has any questions, I'll put like my LinkedIn somewhere down there, so feel free to ask me any questions. One of my most favorite things of the aftermath is just me going on Instagram, and I get DMs from like a lot of people like, hey, I saw you got to YYGS, can you like look over my essay? And I was so happy to do it for them, and I was so happy when they texted me back and they're like, I got into YYGS. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, it's amazing. So feel free to like reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, and good luck to all the future applicants, and anyone who has already got in. You're going to have the most amazing time of your life, and I hope it goes well for you guys. Bye. I forgot to show you guys my most prized possession. This is my Yale lanyard that I got when I got to Yale. You keep your key in here, and there's like a QR code here which you would use to scan through the doors, and you just hang it over your neck and you can adjust it. This was green for PLE, and I even have some like merch from here. We got cute little stickers, and I haven't had a use for it yet. And then there's like a zip. This is actually pretty helpful. Some people put their phones in here. And this is just like extra merch that I got. I just got like a few more lanyards. But this is usually where you would keep your keys to get in. And then this was just another lanyard that I got, but this was the sticker that we got for our capstone project, which is basically just like a group project that you work with your peers, and you have a presentation at the end. So that's it. Bye guys. Sorry, one more disclaimer. It wasn't capstone, it was symposium. Basically, it was like a mini model United Nations where we would get like organizations and you would have a role, and there was like a news article. So based on your role, you would like release statements and make videos, and that was another very interesting part that I forgot and I left out. But symposium, not capstone. Just as a disclaimer that I have a cold right now, so I sound very congested throughout this whole video. But thanks for watching, guys. Bye.